Research has found that once men are exposed to porn, they have said that they are less in love with their spouse than they were before they were exposed to it. Also, it has been found that once someone has been exposed to porn, they were more critical of their spouse's appearance, their curiosity, their performance, and their form of affection. Even though it may seem like cocaine and porn are very different, they're really not. Once someone is addicted to anything, it's an addiction. So, cocaine and porn actually affect the brain the exact same. It causes, because when someone becomes addicted, porn then becomes an artificial stimulant, thus resulting in the brain reacting in the same way. As a psych student, I know that the brain is such a beautiful and complex creation that God created for each individual. Research has shown us, as psych students, they've shown us pictures of what the brain looks like before and after a person does cocaine, and before and after someone watches porn. And the brain actually looks the exact same as both the after pictures, because when someone is addicted, it just releases things. And it kind of rewires the brain in a negative way. So when people think that they're watching porn and it's perfectly fine, it's actually affecting the brain in an identical way as it would be if they were doing hard drugs. It isn't actually just Christians who disagree with pornography. There are a lot of actually secular scientists and researchers and a lot of secular organizations that are actually a lot more involved with it and put themselves out there a lot more than the Christian organizations, surprisingly. Because just because you're Christian or secular, it still is scientific matter. It's affecting your brain and your body, and they understand how much of a serious matter it is and like how negative the effects are, not only on your mind, but on your relationships and on the world around you, honestly. With porn being so normalized in today's society, with movies such as 50 Shades of Grey and magazines like Cosmopolitan, it's really harder to get people to understand how negative it is, because when they see it all around them as such like a normal thing, they don't think that anything is bad with it, because they don't directly see the negative effects it's having, even though it's having very serious negative effects. But even though people don't understand and people don't want to see the negative effects of it and don't want to see the wrong in it, as Christians, we are called to help our weaker, younger brothers and sisters. We are to help those in need, and we're also called to fight against what is wrong, and to just help to have others see why it's so wrong, not just because no, porn is bad. It's just we need to explain all the harm that they're doing to themselves and honestly the others around them. I can validate this statement by saying that just by discussing how porn is being so normalized in today's society, by example, by how it's looked at, surprisingly, is I've just learned that it is apparently not cheating and it's not wrong. This problem exists because today's society has just normalized it. They keep making excuses as to why it's perfectly fine to do and as to why it's not wrong and it's good to do in a relationship. Honestly, that's how they feel, and they think that just because if you watch it on a screen, that's perfectly fine because you're not actually doing it. The solution is to inform people of the harm that they're doing to themselves and the others around them. Now I'm going to take a closer look at this topic. In today's society, porn is not looked at as cheating or wrong, because since they're watching, they're not cheating. Cosmo actually came out with an article on Snapchat. It was called 8 Reasons Why Watching Porn Doesn't Make Him a Cheater. And that is the most harmful and ridiculous article that I've probably ever heard. It's basically telling people it is okay for your boyfriend to watch other people on a screen. That's so disgusting, and I don't get how a normal, rational human being can say that that's okay, because it's really not. Men should not be allowed to watch porn by their spouse, because research has found that men are less in love with their spouse after they've watched it because they have so much to compare to, and it messes up their brain and it makes them unable to love, honestly. Dr. Noman, he is a world-renowned psychiatrist. He actually says a really good quote that explains exactly like why, or basically explains how porn affects the brain. He says sexual tastes are molded by an individual's experiences and their culture. Their tastes are acquired and then wired into the brain. We are unable to distinguish our second nature from our original nature because our neuroplastic brains, once rewired, develop a new nature, every bit as biological as the original. So basically he's saying once you've rewired it, it's as biological as the original. So it becomes a second instinct. On to my second point though. Since they've normalized it so much, now it is believed that you should watch it with your spouse because it'll bring you closer together. When honestly that is so wrong because porn kills love. It makes it false. It gives the person watching it a false depiction of what love is when it is completely wrong, and it makes it an unhealthy relationship. This brings me to my last point, that the solution is to inform others of the danger of watching porn and how it affects others. It affects your mind, your heart, and the world around you. People need to learn the truth about this disgusting industry because they don't know that when they're supporting it, they're indirectly supporting sex slaves. So people just need to know the truth so that we can make an end to all of this, just everything.